Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with the first person to ever get sub 2 hours in Dark Souls all achievements, which is a pretty mean feat because I remember the times when I used to try all achievements and fail miserably. But Catalyst, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to hear that you introduced me with the All Achievements run. Can't wait to hear about all the Dark Souls 2 All Achievements wishes during this year's marathon again.
I mean, it's quite funny you say that because I do have a $5 donation and I always mess this name up and I apologize. Hishashin, I always say it wrong. Saying DS2 AA mod check. So I just thought, we get that in early and we'll start early.
Yeah, that's
Over
great.
to you.
Second round of the marathon, it's already begun. All right, anyway, welcome guys. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you. This is going to be Dark Souls Any %. I'm just going to quickly talk about what I start with here. So I start as Pyromancer. This is really important for 2 glitches in the run. I will be using the Pyro gear, and I will also be using the Pyromancer's hands to perform a wrong warp. And then I start with the Gift of the Black Fire Bombs, which allows me to get a quick beginning in the Asylum and kill the first boss of the game, Asylum Demon, rather quickly. I'll also use it on Taurus, probably, unless I die. But then I might use it anyway. So yeah, I think we're ready to get started. So I'll count you guys down. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is currently, outside of Force Quit, the fastest category that you can complete Dark Souls in. It is quite a quick run. The entire goal for this run is essentially to obtain the Lord Vessel as fast as possible, place it, and then wrong warp into kill and kill Gwyn. That's why the estimate's also only 30 minutes. In order to actually place the Lord Vessel, I'm still going to need to ring both the Bells of Awakening. So that means I will have to kill both Gargoyles and Quelaag, because that's going to open up the pit in Firelink Shrine. But other than that, there's not that many other bosses that I'll be killing. It's gonna be kind of swift. So first, as I mentioned, Asylum Demon's gonna be done with the Black Fire Bombs. It's 5 chugs. Here's the first 3. I'm gonna roll this attack, do 2 more. Throughout the run, there's gonna be a bunch of glitches that I'll be explaining, but the first very minor one already is you're gonna see me toggle a lot, toggle my weapons as I'm running around. This is because it allows me to start sprinting a little bit earlier. And as such, over the course of the run, it's going to save a little bit of time. Now, I don't actually need any of the starting gear, so I just skip it. That would just be the shield and the hand axe, which are not great. I don't need them. So as you can see, I only have the hilt. But it's okay, because we'll be conducting some business with the undead merchant. I'm also scamming him a little bit, but don't tell him. Alright, so right here, I'm going to talk to Oscar, because everyone knows that's faster. And I'm actually gonna go upstairs, and I need to get the Pyro Hand for the glitch at the end of the run, the Homeward Wrong Warp, which I will talk about when it becomes a little bit more, when we get closer to it. Anyway, let's see what RNG I get on the hollows. That's good. Didn't get blocked whatsoever. Very cool. And I'm just gonna go ahead and open up the doors here. Not much to do. One cool little trick that I'll be doing, jumping into this next cutscene, I will be opening up the key settings menu, which will allow me to take it through the cutscene and then basically skip the cutscene and also one small fade in once I reach Firelink, like so. And now you can see the menu is active. I can close it, and normally there would be like that fade in that tells me, oh, you can level up in Lorgen and rest at bonfires or whatever. Well, I know that. I've played this game once or twice before, so I don't want to have that fade in. And as I said, the first thing that I'll be doing is running towards Undead Merchant. Now, I need to buy several things. I need to buy 2 arrows. They need to be standard arrows because I don't have the stats to use the bow yet. But I, at the same time, still need to aggro Hellkite Drake. So it needs to be a standard arrow. That hurt. Second of all, I'm going to be buying the rapier. I'm going to be buying the bow. I'm going to be buying the reinforced club. And I'm also going to be buying the residence key, but I cannot actually afford the residence key, so I'm gonna perform a glitch called Prom Swap, which will allow me to do it. So I'm gonna do the menuing first, and then I'll explain, okay? So first, not that, 2 arrows, rapier, club, bow, and now as you can see, I cannot actually purchase the residence key, but I can do this trick And I have it. So there you go. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm abusing the fact that in this port, you have both the mouse cursor available, so you can use the mouse for controlling the game, and you can also use the controller. So what I do is I position my mouse on a little arrow that switches the category tabs, and then I press that along pressing purchase at the same time. And that allows me to take a purchase prompt from one category of items at the merchant to another category. So if I do it with adjacent categories, I'm able to purchase an item even though I shouldn't be able to afford it. So the residence key costs 1,000 souls. The game still detracts 1,000 souls, but I only had like 50, so, or 100, so it didn't cost me anything essentially. And that's why I'm directly, or I should say exactly, at the amount of 0. All right, second boss is gonna be Taurus. I picked up the gold pine resin to fight him. He's weak to lightning, so that should come in handy. And I'm gonna be doing the catalystz trademarked firebomb strats, hopefully. I'll open up with an R2, try to get around him, bait him one attack. Then, as my stamina is recovering, I chug a firebomb, and then it should be 3 more attacks. Okay, it's gonna be actually 4 more attacks. And he's done. Okay, cool. So that firebomb there allows me to get a stagger while, you know, throwing the firebomb doesn't cost you any stamina. So I'm recovering stamina at the same time while I'm attacking, essentially. And that allows me to finish with a 3-hit combo. Now, there's a little bit of a meme where essentially some hits will deal more damage than some others on Taurus, but yeah, that doesn't really matter. So here I'm gonna bait this dude, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut his tail. So that should be 1 and 2. The reason I do this, well, I want to aggro him because I don't want to get burned to a crisp, but I also want to get his tail because I want to use it for fighting Iron Golem, right? He's the next boss on my way to Anolondo, and I would not really have any sort of weapons that would be able to deal any damage to him. As you can see, I cannot even use the rapier that I purchased. I cannot even use the bow for now, so very much the Pyromancer isn't doing really great right now in terms of strategies. But fortunately, the reinforced club that I purchased is really good, so it at least worked for Taurus there, but it wouldn't be very good for Iron Golem, as he's much different of a beast, and he's also not weak to lightning. So here's gonna be the first big sequence break of the run. You're gonna see a couple of them. This is the very infamous Sense Gate skip, and essentially what I'm gonna be abusing here is the death cam mechanic. So I'm gonna bait this holo, I'm gonna position myself in a very specific spot, and then I'm gonna parry and riposte him, and you're gonna see the camera go a little bit haywire. Like so. So now, what's actually happening, right? So normally when you drop off of a platform, the game gives you this cinematic look, as in this top-down view. This first activates, and then your character gets killed. This is basically for 2 reasons: to make it look more cinematic, and also to stop everything from loading and deloading, so that there are no weird shenanigans where you're like falling through different areas and whatnot. Now, the good thing is that here, the kill box and the death cam are actually 2 different planes. So if I position myself accordingly, I only activate this camera, but I do not hit the kill box that would kill my character, so I can survive while having this camera active. That being said, now I'm entering the Sense Fortress, which is normally closed. It has a gate that's shut. That's locked until you ring both the bells of awakening. And as you can see, it's right there, and I just go right through it. So that's because the game loads assets to areas loaded in the areas themselves. And as such, when I actually get the riposte there on the holo, the start of Sense Fortress is loaded while the gate isn't. In the meantime, I also took the Undead Parish Bonfire, which will be important for later. But I also wanted to level up there because I need to be able to use the Drake Sword to kill Iron Golem with it, so did some leveling. It also helps me in Anolondo later on because I'll be able to use the rapier. So another huge glitch that I just performed is the move swap. This is the bread and butter glitch of Dark Souls 1 speedrunning. That is Prepared to Die edition, doesn't work on the remaster. And indeed, this is the Prepared to Die edition, which I forgot to mention. So move swapping, which you will get to see more times throughout the marathon, essentially allows you to transfer part of one weapon's moveset to another. This is why I purchased the bow and why I purchased the rapier from the merchant. So what I do is I abuse the fact that you can queue up actions while you're stuck in a different action, and then still open up the menu. So I get stuck, in a jump roll, and then I press L1 while having the bow equipped. That queues up two-handing the bow, which is the only weapon in this game that can be two-handed in the left hand. And before the game executes that action, I swap out the bow for the Drake Sword here, for the weapon of choice that I want to be attacking with. Now, because the bow doesn't have any data for the rolling, running, or plunging attacks, you can only shoot arrows with it. It actually fetches the data from the right hand, where I have the thrusting rapier equipped, which not only is fast, but its running attack also hits in 2 hits. That means I can essentially get a very fast attack that deals double damage. And I'm taking the damage data from the left hand, where I have the Drake Sword. Of course, the stamina and poise damage as well. The stamina is drained accordingly to the weapon that I'm currently wielding, which is the Drake Sword. You can see I'm two-handing it in my left hand. But obviously, the trade-off for the damage and for the poise is absolutely worth it. So here I'm gonna get past Bob. That's this archer here. I'm gonna strafe his arrow. There you got to see the running attack. And now for this boss, this is Iron Golem. What I'll try to do is I'll try to deal 400 damage below the knee level, which is gonna make him stagger. And I'm gonna try to do a very cute and cool setup, which will allow me to position him just perfectly perpendicular to the bridge. So that should be one more running attack for the 400 damage threshold. And then 200 more damage below the knee level will allow me to do this. Bye-bye. So that's Iron Golem. As you saw, the damage that I was dealing wasn't great. Like, he's quite the tank. You generally want to have at least an upgraded weapon by here, because you're supposed to already have disposed of the gargoyles and also Quelaag. So you were supposed to play through a decent part of the early game, but we skipped all of that. So here, normally this bonfire would be skipped, but in case something goes awry, and because my estimate is hopefully lenient enough, I will go ahead and take this along the bonfire. If somehow you don't know, even though this is a Souls marathon, bonfires in these games are basically like your last checkpoint, sort of, that if you die, you will return to. So if I died here all the way between here and running to the cathedral, which is like that path is filled with enemies, if I died, I would be taken all the way to Undead Parish. So that would be right before Sen's Fortress, and that would be a massive time loss. If you have a donation, we can read one right now, I think.
Absolutely. We have $15 from Uran Gay. That is, have a nice day. I'm assuming that's for you and me together.
Oh, of course. I mean, every time I'm with Wolfie, I have a great day. Thank you.
Stop it.
Thank you, Orangey, for the donation. I appreciate it. We all appreciate you guys supporting this great cause. So here, Rafters, I'm gonna heal up to make sure I'm full health, because these Rafters can get nasty, and I don't want that to happen. So first of all, on the ladder, you are completely vulnerable to the throwing daggers. Fortunately, none of them hit me. Here, this is why 12 dexterity is nice, because I'm gonna be able to actually use the rapier to get these guys out of the way in case they decide to block me. But it seems like they are cooperating for once, so that is fantastic. Here, I'm just doing some reordering of the menus. It's no big deal, honestly. It allows me to keep it a little bit comfier for move swapping later on, as I will be using the Dragon Tooth from here on out. As you saw in Iron Golem, the Drake Sword wasn't dealing great damage anymore. And as such, I don't want to be using it anymore. Although I have it equipped at the moment, and that is because if we get lucky, we will get to see its weapon art, the R2 attack. So here I'm going to run through the Gargoyle, and then there's going to be a Sentinel and a couple of Batwing Demons. And hopefully I'll be able to make it through unfazed. I'm going to be using audio cues, actually, for the Batwing Demon Lightning Spears. So let's see how much they troll me or not. So far, so good. Alright, now it can begin. There's one. Was pretty late. Very audible. Alright, the second part here is a little bit more problematic, because you also have the Silver Knight Archers to deal with, but the Batwing Demons were quite cooperative, just like the Painting Guardian, so that's fantastic to see. Alright, it seems like we don't actually get to see the weapon art, but we get to see the Silver Knight fall off, which is pretty good as well, arguably. Here, I'm gonna take this bonfire. Normally in a run, this is what you would take. Considering I got the Anolondo bonfire, had I leveled up there, I wouldn't actually need this one. But coming up is gonna be the most difficult. Well, the last fight of the run is also quite random, but this one's definitely not the one that you want to die to. And if you do, you want to have this bonfire available. So I will take this bonfire. I will level up here the statistics that I need in order to use the Dragon Tooth and also to perform an air rolling glitch later on, for which, you know, that's one of the 2 reasons why I started this Pyromancer. Now I'm gonna get into this hidden room here where Havel hid a bunch of his stuff. And one thing that he hid here is the Dragon Tooth, which is a fantastic weapon. I mean, it's very slow, but thanks to move swapping, we can completely bypass that downside. And I'm gonna head over to ONS. I'm gonna do a small little skip on the stairs, which pretty much everyone that's played this game knows about. And until I get to ONS, I think we can throw in another dono, my friends.
Absolutely. We have a $50 donation from Soap Sinclair. Thank you so much, Soap Sinclair, for your donation. That's awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very generous indeed. All right, so what I'm gonna do here, just to be safe again, I'm gonna also heal up. That will allow me to actually survive some attacks that would normally one-shot me if I took that little bit of damage. I'm gonna try to perform the moose swap again, like so. And there are 3 different openings that I can get from Ornstein right now, so let's see what I get. So I get lightning. That's the one that you don't really want to see. I'll try to play it out anyway. The strategy here is to basically try and separate Ornstein and Smo as much as possible. All right, well, the separation part is going pretty well so far. All right, let me go for a cool little strat here, okay? Watch this. Backstab into a running attack immediately. Oh, I missed. Well, that's fine. So here, because of the extra poise damage, or extreme poise damage, I should say, that the Dragon Tooth is doing, I'm able to just stagger lock Smo. That's a big reason why you want to kill Ornstein first, because you don't, like, you cannot stagger lock Super Ornstein, so that's why I go for Ornstein first. That was a really, really good fight. Even though it was a lightning opener, which, like I said, that's not the one you want to see. That one's super smooth, so that was great. So here is Guinevere. I hate to break it to you, even though she's quite, you know, she's got quite the charisma, let's put it that way. She's just an illusion, so we shoot her because it's faster than talking to her. And here I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 warps. First one's gonna be to Firelink Shrine. I'm gonna drop the Reinforced Club because I don't need it anymore. It served us well. The other items I still need, however. And then I'm gonna go ahead and warp to Parish. Now, the reason I do the warps this way is because I would have to do 2 warps anyway, but this allows me to basically set Firelink Shrine as my last bonfire, because warping to Parish doesn't set it as my last bonfire. So I basically skip having to rest 1 extra time. So right now, the goal after getting the Lord Vessel, which you obtained from Guinevere, is to go ahead and open the Firelink Altar pit in Firelink Shrine, for which I need to ring the 2 Bells of Awakening, which we skipped initially. The reason I don't do it early is because now with the Dragon Tooth and all my gear ready, I can not only perform some sequence breaks, but I will also be dealing a lot more damage. So hopefully I'll be able to get through Hollow Room here. Let's see. This one can get a little bit tricky. Well, I would call that calculated. I didn't doubt I would survive for a moment there. So I got hit by a buffed up Hollow. That was quite unfortunate, and then I got immediately hit by the Channeler. But I wasn't sprinting at that time, so I didn't get counter hit by either of them, and that way I survived. So hopefully if this fight goes alright, you will get to see how good the poise is here. We basically deal enough poise damage with the very first hit that we do. So Gargoyles immediately staggered, no big deal there. Fantastic. Here I'm gonna prepare some menus. So first I'm gonna prepare the hilt. I'm gonna equip, not the Dragon Tooth, I'm gonna equip the Drake Sword, and I'm gonna equip the Pyro Armor as well. Now the reason I equip all of this is because in this game, if you get to a very specific weight load threshold, that is between 25 to 25.0000088%, which is not supposed to be possible, but thanks to integers or floating point numbers, I should say, you know, not being computed accurately. This is not a problem just with Dark Souls, but with other games as well. I can get into that interval, and essentially the game thinks that I am in a mid-roll tier, which I will be, but then I'm also like 0% of weight load into it, so that will allow me to air roll. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and perform probably the coolest looking skip in this game, and hopefully it will work out. So first I'm gonna do a very elaborate setup at the top of the elevator here. That allows me to set my last stored position in a very specific place. And then I'm also gonna set it up here in the elevator. Now if I roll forwards and roll backwards, what I just did there is I basically touched New Londo for exactly 1 frame, while my last stored position, thanks to a 5-frame buffer, was still at the top of the elevator. What that does is it allows me to load the lower area first while respawning at the top, and that way I can clip out of bounds. As that is happening, I can also survive the incoming fall, because anytime you spawn mid-air, you basically get a different splatter animation upon landing, which allows you to have the fall damage delayed and quit out, store your position at the bottom, but survive. So here are the arrows, and boom, we are in Quailag's domain, which is kind of cool, I would say. So there's a lot of explaining. There's an insane amount of information that I could relay there about the skip, but essentially it's a miracle that it works. Everything lines up super perfectly, and you saw that the collision in the, you know, out of boundary portions of the map line up just perfectly for me to be able to navigate around the seam that's just 1 pixel wide and get to the point where, hold on, I need to interrupt this AoE attack, there we go, allows me to get just to the perfect point that is above the Quailag's domain and roll there thanks to the air rolls. So that is the one big reason why I start as Pyromancer, and the second one is to have the Fireball and to have the Pyro Hand. So what I'll be doing is essentially wrong warping into kill now, because this is the second bell rung. I'm gonna use the Homeward Bone instead of Dark Sand for the first time, because I want to keep these souls, because right now there's more business to be conducted, and we're gonna go ahead and go to Petrus, and I'm gonna buy the Homeward spell, which will allow me to perform the wrong warp, and I will also go ahead and buy a talisman, because I actually, in order to perform this wrong warp, I need to have 2 spellcasting tools available to me. Thanks for the copper coin, that's much appreciated. Yes, I want to join, but I only joined the Covenant to perform the glitches, okay? Don't think too highly of yourself, Petrus, my man. Okay, so I bought the talisman, I bought Homeward, and essentially what I'm gonna be doing is performing a wrong warp by getting myself warped to my last bonfire, and just before the game finishes that action, I will rest at a different bonfire, and that's gonna trigger the wrong warp. Now, the wrong warp essentially will allow me to get to a default position, a place we call default position, which is an arbitrarily set point by the developers, and it's behind the gate in the kiln. So there it is, and now I'm gonna rest, and boom, and look at this. And we are in the kiln. So the reason this works, and the reason I can rest at a bonfire by getting, or rather I should say, while getting warped, is because I perform a glitch called Spell Swap, and that allows me to basically cast a spell with the effect of another spell. Or you can also think about it as giving a spell a different animation that it should have. And this is key, because the Homeward spell acts as a Homeward Born, and it should take you to the last bonfire. While that is happening, while the warp is triggered, the Homeward animation is so long that you're not supposed to be able to do anything. But I basically cast Homeward with the animation of Fireball, and Fireball is a lot shorter of an animation. So I have a couple of frames of freedom at the end of the animation there, and in those couple of frames, I can actually rest at the bonfire and trigger the wrong warp. And right now, this is the last area of the game, right? It's very fortunate that the default position, the arbitrarily selected point by the developers, is actually behind the gate. Because the Kiln of the First Flame and the Firelink Altar, like, they're one area. And they share this one position. So now for Gwyn, I'm gonna perform another Moose Swap. And this can get a little bit nasty as well, so hopefully it doesn't. I'm gonna try to stagger lock him, but he can basically lock out of it at any point. So hopefully he doesn't. So I start with a rolling attack. Okay, that's not good. I'm gonna quit out because I would probably die here. I completely lost my stagger there. I would need a full running attack to stagger, so let's try this again. That's exactly what I was talking about. My first running attack, essentially, my first part of the running attack would actually stagger him. But he iframed, well, I should say poise. He absorbed the poise thanks to the jump pack, so the goal is to essentially get him to keep on turning around. And before he attacks, I want to do another running attack that staggers him. The reason I also opened with a rolling attack is so that the first half of my move swap, because it hits in 2 ticks. Oh, R1. Okay, still got him. Easy. Time is very soon. The first part of the running attack staggers him. I'm able to actually get him to stagger. So time in 3, 2, 1, and time. So let's watch this cutscene. And that was really smooth. And I told you this was going to be fast. Even though it's relatively simple, it's a relatively simple run, there's a lot of tech to be explained. So sorry if I got a little bit... I have another run tomorrow that's a little bit longer. We have a lot more time to chat. So if there's any questions that you might have, of course, you can either direct them to me personally, or you can also wait for my next run during the marathon and ask me there. But yeah, this was Dark Souls 1 Prepare to Die Edition, any percent. Oh, this is Omega loud, so I'm gonna skip that. And yeah, please keep on supporting the marathon. Keep on cheering us, guys. Cheering us on, I should say. And it was a pleasure to be the second run, going after Zebra. And there's a lot more of Souls and other action coming up your way as well. But for tonight, that's it for me. And if there's anything you want to add, Wolfie, then this would be the time.
You are a beautiful person, is what I wanted to add.
Oh, that's lovely. It's not the first time I hear it, but it's the first time I hear it from such a beautiful person as yourself.
Oh, thank you. That was a really good run. Thank you, Kara.
Yeah, so as I said, I will be seeing you guys again later, but please don't tune out. Enjoy the rest of the marathon. This is a special time of the year for all of us here within the community, and we'll see you very shortly after this intermission.